Welcome to Houzz Australia's webinar today. Today's topic is all centered on building your brand. So really we're going to go through just Houzz's guide to building your brand online, and really just how to really make sure that your business does stand out from the crowd online, because there's obviously a lot of competition out there. My name's Olivia, and during this webinar, we're actually using GoToWebinar, the platform. So if you do have any questions throughout the session, you can't hear me or anything like that, please just let me know in the questions tab that you should see in your GoToWebinar control panel. But don't worry too much, because this is being recorded, so I can always send you the recording afterwards if you needed to catch up on anything that you may have missed. So our agenda today is really, it's all centered on just how you can brand yourself online and really build that brand. Obviously, as a business, it's vital to stand out from the crowd and demonstrate what makes your brand unique. But really, it's how you actually persuade a client to choose you over someone else. And today I am excited to provide you with valuable insights and business tips to help you do exactly that. So a couple of tips just on the screen now in terms of our agenda. So really what we're going to be covering is the importance of digital branding, how to create a standout story, effective photography and why photos are a high impact touch point, and using online forums to really engage and win prospective clients. So let's dive into it. So just for some more context, obviously everyone that is in this session is familiar with Houzz to some degree. You may have a profile, maybe you've just set that up, you're very new to the platform, or you have quite an established platform already. But really, just for some broader context, Houzz is now the world's largest online home design and renovation platform. Fantastic place for you as professionals to build your brand, reach new clients, collaborate with your existing clients, and just work smarter rather than harder online. And for our users, it's a fantastic resource to find the right professionals in their area, the right professionals that they can hire for their projects, some beautiful inspiration and ideas, some fantastic editorial content, and just engage in community forums where they can really chat to other renovators, other homeowners, and also professionals as well. So Houzz has these 5 layers, which are quite distinct, and I did kind of just introduce them then, but just to give you a little bit more context and dive into these. Houzz was launched in the States a few years ago, nearly 10 years ago now, and it basically was born out of a really frustrating renovation that our co-founders went through. Our co-founders are Adi and Alon, and they are husband and wife. They live in the States, and basically they moved across the country and had this really terrible renovation that was really, really frustrating for them. And they basically wanted to use their technology background to tap into this market, because they really saw that there was a huge amount of frustration and just big gaps in the whole renovating, design, redecorating space. So they wanted to fill those gaps. So they created Houzz, and Houzz has really evolved to have these 5 key layers. So they're on the screen here, and the one that you are probably most familiar with is photos. So our photo stream has over 16 million photos, and the amazing thing about this photo stream is that every photo that's been uploaded has been uploaded by professionals, designers, and it's been uploaded directly to their profile. So because of this, the photos not only appear on your profile, but also in this photo stream where they're credited to you, watermarked to you, they link back to your website and your profile as well. So it becomes really a fantastic source of information, as well as just visual inspiration for our users. I mentioned your profile. So your profile is linked as well to our services directory. So as soon as you sign up with a professional directory, on the site, you are listed in our Find a Pro section. And there's a couple of ways in which you can rise up in the ranks in this directory. And all of these building your brand tips that I'm about to dive into, these can really help in terms of your overall exposure in this area of the site. Our editorial content is amazing. If you have ever received our newsletter before, you would have seen some of those articles there. We have an in-house editorial team who produce an amazing amount of content every single week. We also have some fantastic professional contributors in all of our local markets. So they're professionals just like you guys who actually contribute to our articles, provide quotes, write articles, write stories as well. So it's a really fantastic opportunity just for you as a professional to write for Houzz. And if you do get featured in Houzz in any of the stories, be it your photos or your words, that is a really fantastic amount of additional exposure as well. Our product stream is similar to our photo stream in terms of it's a showcase of those photos, but this is specifically products. So it's an amazing place to find local retailers, showrooms, brands, designers in here. And in the Australian site, it is not, we're not an e-commerce platform, so we're not a shop. So your products are showcased and they're all credited to you and they link back to your website where people can just purchase as normal. And then we have the discussion section of the site, also called the advice section. And this is the community forums where you can really engage in our community. And I will cover community engagement a lot more just later in this session. So these 5 layers are tied together with really smart technology that just allows for such an end-to-end solution in this home design and renovation space. And obviously, digital branding is very important to us. So all of the tips that we share today, these can easily apply to your Houzz profile, but it also can be applied to your website, your Facebook, your Instagram, or wherever else you are choosing to brand yourself online. So just for some global stats, just so we can see a little bit more kind of context of where we are sitting in the world. Houzz now has 40 million unique users coming on the site every single month. Just in Australia, we have 1.5 million. Our app won the Google Play Award for the best app of the year, which is really fantastic. And like I said earlier, we have now 16 million photos on the site. So this really is a fantastic and relevant audience to build your brand upon. So on the screen here, there's an interesting number, 85 times. And this is the amount of times the average person checks their mobile every single day. So this is pretty crazy. It was based on a study from Nottingham Trent University, and they did find that the average person checks their mobile device 85 times per day, and they will use their device for an average of 5 hours each day. And for millennials, so the generation of those reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century, they agreed at high percentages with all these statements on the screen. So that their smartphone never leaves their side day or night. 87% said that. When they wake up, the first thing I do is reach for my smartphone. 80% said that. This generation of millennials, these are really the next generation, and they're the next generation of clients, and you can see that they are really active online. So what does this mean for your business? Ultimately, what does it mean? Well, Google says that more searches are done on a mobile device than a desktop now. And our research on Houzz specifically really supports this as well. Half of all of Houzz's activity is done from a mobile device. So simply put, if you aren't mobile friendly, then you don't exist. So to build your brand today, you need to reach what we call the empowered client. So what do we know about these people? The empowered client is, as we just discussed, these clients are on their phones. So they're mobile and they're using a mobile device. They are online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can see that because you are on your mobile in the line at a supermarket after the kids go to sleep and just basically in between everything else as well. The empowered client is well researched. They are online getting and really retaining knowledge about whatever purchase or hiring decision that they are making. And the empowered client is a real participant in this whole process. Very few clients now just hand over a budget and say, cool, I'll see you in 6 months. They really do want to feel a part of the process and an intelligent and empowered decision maker in every step of that process. So therefore, branding in this new digital age has really changed. So digital branding has definitely changed to even what it was 10 years ago. So to begin, people are exposed to your brand in these online micro moments. So when we're talking about building your brand online and just where people can find you and how they're seeing you online, that's really about how we can create and really just manifest these micro moments. So a micro moment might be them reading a review of yours or seeing just one photo of some work or a project that you did. They are looking to fulfill both rational and emotional needs. So people buy emotionally, but they justify it rationally. And you can't just push them information. You do need to respond. So if you put it out there and don't answer someone that reaches out to you, someone that messages you directly or asks a question on one of your photos, you've really lost them. And consumers are out there searching, pulling in information that they want. They are really in control. So this is how it has changed, and this is how the empowered client really does work online and how they do find you. So what you do really want to do is cultivate some nice stalkers. So you really do want to get in front of these empowered clients that know what they want and do move in all of those different points that we just mentioned. So how we can do that, how we can cultivate you some nice stalkers, it's through a few different things. So the first kind of in-depth look that I'll talk about now is storytelling. So this point is all about differentiating your brand. So there's 3 areas of online branding. So the storytelling one is the first of 3. So what exactly are we talking about when we say storytelling? Well, on screen here, this is a perfect example of a profile with absolutely no storytelling. So obviously I have blocked out a lot of the details here, so we made it quite anonymous, but I really can't tell you how many industry professionals have a similar profile for their business. This is an example that we have come across again and again online. So this profile has been hastily thrown together without any real care or thought, it seems. Is it factually correct? Sure. They're an interior designer, maybe their location is in there, but it doesn't do anything to help this professional stand out from the crowd. And me as a prospective client or just a user that's come on, I am not very inspired by this profile, and it really wouldn't lead to my decision to actually contact them, to email them or call them directly from this profile. So here are some steps to really just better help you tell your story. So first of all, showcase your skills. So your website or house profile is often the first thing a potential client will see. So use these platforms to highlight areas that you specialize in and to showcase your skills. So not just saying I'm a building designer, but here is a really good example from Tempest Design Studio here, where they start with We specialize in unique custom designs, and then they go on from there to really explain who they are, what they do, their skills, and their focus as a business as well. So they've done this in a really fantastic way. Yes, on the right-hand side there, I can see the category that they're in, but I can see that even when we're just in the photo stream or in the Find a Pro directory. When I've actually clicked through and landed on your profile, this is where I really want to learn more about your business and see exactly what you specialize in, exactly what you are an expert in. So do fill out as much detail as you can in that directory information that I've highlighted in the middle there. The next tip for telling your story is to highlight your passion. So homeowners want to know that you are just as enthusiastic about designing or building their dream space as they are. So like scenario architecture has said here, scenario architecture is more than just a name for a practice. It is a unique and very personal way of designing and creating architecture, and we love what we do. We feel pride when clients tell us they finally feel at home living in the space we designed for and with them. So that is a fantastic just takeout from their business description. And for me as a client that's landed on their page, that has made me really engaged with them and quite enthusiastic to reach out to them, because I can trust that, hey, they love what they do and they really feel just as enthusiastic about my project as I would as well. So you want to showcase your skills, talk about your passion, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the next point, which is reveal a bit of your personality. So embarking on a home project can be really daunting. So clients want someone who can make the whole process easier. So use your website or your house profile to connect emotionally. So letting them know how your business will make this whole process enjoyable. So I talked about that before when we were looking at the empowered client, that they make decisions based on emotion and then justify it later. So really connect to that emotional intelligence of your client. So this professional as well from the UK, they have done this really well, and pointing out that they have a little bit of humor too, and you can see that they, not just through the text, but we can also see in their photo that, hey, I can see your face. I can straight away get a little bit more of a sense of who you actually are. And lastly, for the storytelling portion, put yourself in your client's shoes. So we sometimes forget, especially you as a professional who does this all the time, that this process is completely new for your client. So make a point of highlighting how you consider your customers' needs. This architect, so Architect at Home, they have done a great job of this, and they can really just reassure their client or potential client through their business profile here. So they've done a great job of saying just how they will guide you through the process. They say our initial collaborative design consultation actively encourages our customers to get involved with their project from the outset, ensuring that with our guidance and expertise, they get a solution that is a perfect fit for them. So that's an amazing quote there from their overview information. So not only have they kind of shown their passion, shown their skills, but they really have just set themselves in their client's shoes. And this is really reassuring, just kind of input into that overview to really reassure the client. Also, I did just briefly mention it on the avocado suite profile example, but this is just one insider tip for your house profile. It is show your face. So people really connect with faces over logos online. And I do understand, of course, that your logo is your branding, but on Houzz specifically, we know that people click on a face a lot more than they would click on a logo. So if you are comfortable putting your face on your profile as your profile photo, or maybe a team shot or something like that, I would definitely recommend you do that over just uploading your logo. That can really, again, set yourself apart. It does immediately tell a little bit of a story. And people can just immediately kind of connect to you and just see the person that is most likely going to answer the phone when they call you as well. So these simple storytelling steps, they really will help you effectively stand out amongst that competition and really just help you build some online brand. So when building your online brand, just ask yourself these simple questions. So what's my personal history? Where's my passion? How can I convey my personality? And what is the prospective client thinking? What questions are they asking themselves? If you can just think about those questions and then insert some of those answers and insights into your own business description or information, that can really just immediately not only build your brand, but just set yourself apart from the crowd and the online competition. So the second kind of major tip in building your online brand is photography. So photography is an amazing way to showcase your skills through imagery. You really can become your design partner in this process. So home design is incredibly visual. So unlike the professionals on our site, so the designers like you guys, homeowners often are unaware of the options that are available. They don't know the possibilities for their home renovation until they see an image. So imagery really helps homeowners understand the possibilities, and they're just such a high impact touch point. So you can use your images to push and showcase the specific projects that you are wanting to take on. So this is a good example of that. Charles Byron up here, they are a design and build firm, but really they want to focus their attention on bathroom projects. So they really had, and specifically about this pro, they had aspirations of launching their own tile range. So they did quite a bit of a rebrand on Houzz. And you can see that all of the projects that they have uploaded and that they've put at the top of their profile are bathrooms. So the cover photo is a bathroom, that's that long photo up the top. Those top two projects are also bathroom projects. So a lot of their branding specifically called out their bathroom work. And you can also see that from the right-hand side byline where it says family-owned bathroom refurbishment specialist. So even if you are a service professional or you have just a standalone product, it's worth reaching out to the architect or the designer who maybe also worked on a project with you and asking if you can share the images. Because if you've collaborated with someone, if you have professional photographs with another collaborator, another professional, it's so worth it to share those imagery, share the imagery online. Obviously credit everyone involved because it really does elevate your profile and just your online exposure in general as well. And of course, professional photography, we understand it's not always in your budget to pay for that. So we have created a couple of options for you. And you can now use this photography network. So we've got a number of photographers across Australia and New Zealand that offer discounted prices for Houzz professionals across various different price points as well. So these are some fantastic photographers in your local area. You get a discount just from being a Houzz professional. So it's quite worth it to just jump on and just kind of see the possibilities, because really Photos are, like I said, such a high impact touch point. And we know online, not just on Houzz specifically, but professional photographs are always the most popular. They're always the most clicked. They will elevate your work. You're more likely to get featured in Editorial, more likely to get featured on social media as well by maybe other people that would like to promote you. So it's really, really worth it to invest in some quality photography. So now moving into our third step of making your business really stand out and really build that online brand, it's all about communicating effectively with prospective clients. So community engagement, which is really your secret weapon for getting clients. So when you want to know something, chances are you turn to the internet. And this really goes for homeowners too. So homeowners, those empowered clients like we spoke about before, they will really do a lot of research of companies, of professionals, design options online. They're joining advice forums, they're reading articles, they're reading reviews, checking out what other people said about those certain professionals. So if you want to build up trust online and really build up trust with a potential group of clients, it makes sense to really take part and engage. The average user on Houzz is a really fantastic demographic as well. So it's not often that you actually know who is viewing your work. If you are showcasing your work on your website or on other places online, it is hard to know the audience that is really viewing your work. On Houzz, we can tell you. So I mentioned the biggest stats before, like we have 1.5 million users in a month on the Australian site. But to go a little bit deeper on that demographic, nearly 90% of our users own their own home. In the past 12 months, 57% renovated their home. And we know that they take a while in that planning phase of a project. So on average, they spend 4.5 months just planning a project online. We also note that our user group does skew to female, so mostly females are using, and our average user age is 45 years old. So that is really fantastic demographic to be in front of, and we can see that they're quite active renovators, planning renovations right now in the homes that they own, or potentially their second home, like that other point is down the bottom. So moving into community engagement a little bit more, positive client reviews are a great way to show off your work and customer service while engaging in that homeowner community as well. So after your review is posted on Houzz, be sure to thank your reviewer and add your own comment to the review. Not a lot of people know that you can do that. So anytime you get a review, you can comment on that, you can say thank you, and you can like it as well. Responding to reviews from happy clients helps to maintain that relationship, as they will obviously appreciate your acknowledgement, and then anyone else that comes across this review, they can see that acknowledgement as well, and they can read your comment. This is a great opportunity to demonstrate to that prospective client the great relationships that you build with each and every client and the way that you engage on a project. It's an additional touch point to showcase your personality, your expertise, your attention to detail as well. And potential clients are reading these details. And pros in our just community on Houzz, they tell us that these small gestures can really, really help you win some new business. And one really good tip as well, try and get some colleague reviews. So colleagues, other professionals that you've collaborated with, make sure you're helping out each other, give each other a review online and comment on those as well, just so that also is acknowledged. Equally as important is responding to the bad. So you might be tempted to ignore a bad review or just slightly, not even bad, but just slightly negative review online, but you should do the opposite. So tell your side of the story and even use the review to highlight your good business practice. So, for example, some clients ask for things that are unreasonable, they conflict with your ethics maybe. So by responding to negative feedback with a calm answer, you can really attract a level-headed client who will take the time to read your answer and understand the reasons behind it. So try to resolve negative reviews. It's worth noting that clients can actually edit their house review at any time. So if your client is less than satisfied, look at the review as fresh insight that gives you the opportunity to reach out and make things right. If you demonstrate concern, clients will often gladly edit and update their review and talk about how you turned around that difficult situation. Christine Petro of Christine Petro Interiors, she has actually gained new business because of the way she handled a difficult and really detailed negative review. So she advises here, a bad review, when you can respond to it, is an opportunity to explain your company and its processes in a way that you can't via your house business description or website. It's a way to give you insight into the way your company operates. People who are interested in you will seek that out. The adage that the customer is always right isn't always true. Standing behind the principles and ethics of good business sometimes means saying no to a client. If that yields a bad review, so be it. But you must maintain your professionalism and can't be emotional in your response. There is life after a bad review. So moving on to online forums and gaining market insight. So online forums offer the perfect opportunity to directly engage by answering questions, responding to comments, and building up trust in your brand. On Houzz, we have an advice section, which I mentioned earlier. Even if the person asking a question isn't a potential client, you can use the opportunity to attract positive attention. So within our advice section, you can start a discussion, start a poll, answer a question, vote in a poll, show off some photos. You can really engage in a lot of different ways in this advice section. And every time you comment in a Houzz forum, it will show up on your profile as well and highlight your brand to other users who are actively engaged in their own home renovation process. So this is a couple of really great examples of someone posting in the advice section of Houzz. And it's really just extremely effective for professionals to be capitalizing on these opportunities. So they've really, both of these professionals here, really gained some fantastic market insight by launching a couple of different polls. So just asking really transparent, really friendly, fixed shower heads, yes or no, and vote for whichever you like, yay or nay to open kitchen plans. So it's really interesting to see that you can start these little polls within our community and they're going out to so many different eyeballs that you can really gain some fantastic insight into that market and just maybe specifically into your product as well. Direct engagement really builds brands. Community engagement is also a fantastic way to share your expertise. So this is where you can really show off that you are an expert in this space. You can actually be quite strategic in our advice section because you can search for discussions that are in your topic. So if you're a bathroom designer, search for any discussions that are bathroom related. It will be much easier for you to leave a comment because you are obviously a professional in that space. And like I said, your comment or your answer isn't just for the benefit of that person who asked the question or posted that discussion, because your comment not only appears there, but it also appears on your profile. So people can see straight from your profile, you definitely are an expert, because they can see little snippets of your comments. Editorial. So editorial was one of the 5 layers that I spoke about a bit earlier. And you can find all of our stories up in the stories section up here. So our stories section is an amazing way to just find some more ideas and inspiration as well. But you as a professional on Houzz can directly engage in editorial and just become a lot more of an active player in here. Because yes, our editorial team are always looking for projects to feature, photos to feature, products to feature as well. And you can directly send your photos and ideas to our editorial team. But also you can write the Houzz. So there's a lot of opportunity to actually write for us, send articles to our editor, just submit a couple of ideas, and just start really collaborating on that editorial side of things. It's a fantastic amount of exposure because you appear not only in our stories section, but also in our newsletter, and all of the stories on Houzz are available internationally. So it's really a common occurrence that a local article, perhaps written by an Australian architect, would then be cloned over and also published into Houzz France or Houzz Russia or Houzz Japan as well. So it's also a lot of international exposure. And then also for editorial, you can get a little bit more engagement from the community by commenting on articles. So there's a comment section at the bottom of every article on Houzz. So you can see all of those comments. The comments are all international as well. Comment on those articles, comment on what was going on, your own ideas of whatever was happening in that article as well. You can give some professional insight to the topic. But also our articles and that comment section often becomes kind of another discussion as well, with people getting really engaged in whatever topic. So you can also just engage in that discussion and perhaps answer some questions that other people are answering too. And this is just a really great example of one of our pros who left quite a nice comment on this particular article too. And like I said, direct engagement really builds brands. So I can't express enough how important it is to really engage in the community, and be that through diving into this advice section on Houzz and starting your own polls and discussions and questions, answering questions. It may be from engaging on your Facebook a little bit more. Maybe you're posting quite a lot, but not engaging in actual questions and Q&A online. That is where you can really start really building your brand. Because on this slide here, this is showing the hiring criteria. So we asked our audience what were the #1 thing that people look for when they are really making a hiring decision. And a really great takeout is that #1, good reviews and recommendations were way up the top. But also highlighted in the middle here, communication and organization skills and personality, they are in there as well as really being top hiring criteria. So using our community forums or anywhere else you can just directly engage in the community online, that's an amazing way to tick off both of those boxes. So today we've shared a lot of information about how to build and nurture your online brand. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of the webinar, this session has been recorded, and I will be sending across the full presentation, if not later today, then tomorrow. But in the meantime, there's some really great takeaways that I can share just following this session. But before I do end, I really did want to just dive into our local targeted branding options as well, because this program, Pro Plus, is an amazing way and a really fantastic program to just elevate your profile and really make sure that you're not only building your brand online, but you are targeting local users, local homeowners that are actively looking for professionals just like you. So Houzz and our Pro Plus program, we really can provide visibility on your business, specifically in the areas that you are looking to work in. And this elevated visibility comes in many different forms, such as sponsored photos. So your photos, which we have spoken about quite a bit, they are actually sponsored and really stand out a lot in our photos section. We also give you some fantastic additional things to your photos. So this is what a regular photo would look like in our photo stream. But with Pro Plus, we really do give you a lot more benefits to each and every single photo. So your photo is not just an isolated photo. You actually get to click through to 6 additional photos just from your one. You get a byline on the side there, some additional information, and really importantly, this call to action button down the bottom. So this is what every single one of your photos would look like in the photo stream. So you can see that they immediately stand out amongst the rest. And the great thing about this is not just the photo standing out, but having, you can really just rest in the fact that you know your photos are being seen by the local audience of your choosing. So you can really double down and focus on, say, the inner west of Sydney, and then those users are really seeing a lot of your work. Enhanced directory placement is another place that you can get elevated visibility. So you do get first page placement, of your profile in that find post directory, which I have referenced quite a few times. So sponsored placement looks like this, and you can see it is still very native to the site, and it's not overbearing or completely looking like an advertisement. You also get additional locally targeted ads in the stories and the advice sections, which I just covered in. That's where we really know most of the community are spending a lot of time in engaging in editorial work and community forums. Those ads are also seen in those editorial newsletters I spoke about. And again, down the bottom, what I've highlighted there are what the ads look like. And these are targeted just to that audience of your choosing, so you know that those local users are looking for you and their eyeballs are on you. Specifically looking at the profile, a regular profile looks like this, an organic profile on Houzz, which I'm sure you're quite familiar since you have your own. And with Pro Plus, a sponsored profile allows you to just build your brand even further. So a Pro Plus profile allows you to immediately identify who you are with a bold byline up the top there. So you can see that Jodie Carter has said, interior designer, servicing Sydney, 2017 Best of Houzz winner. So an immediate reference, and I can immediately get a sense of exactly who she is. There is also some fantastic video options with this branded profile. The project match feature also allows just users that are in your area working on projects that are similar to exactly what you offer. You will get those project details and those quotes sent directly to you. You get access to a whole bunch of really amazing analytics. So analytics can very much help you just kind of navigate your online brand, because you may think, oh, these are my absolute best photos and these are my favorite photos that I have taken. But perhaps it would surprise you to see which are actually performing the best. So we give you these amazing photo impressions, photo clicks, the amount of ads to idea books, as well as just overall photo impressions as well. You get additional call and message tracking to track any lead that comes from your profile. These benefits are all available on any mobile device as well. Like I said earlier, it's 85 times a day that people are picking up their phone and looking at it. That racks up to about 5 hours a day. So obviously, very important that you spend quite a bit of effort just making sure that you are completely mobile optimized. And my favorite part of this program, and why I do want to kind of dive into it a bit more, is the fact that you get an account manager. So an account manager is someone that looks after your profile for the whole life of this program, and they are basically helping you to build your brand every day. So they give you advice, they develop your online profile with you, and they can give you a review of your personal program, ongoing analytics calls. They are all experts in digital marketing, and they can just give you some fantastic advice and just really be an amazing, reassuring voice and reassuring expert in their field as well. So that is Pro Plus. It's really a local branding tool and program. And I do mention it because obviously this is just the #1 way to use Houzz to really build your brand across the board. And as an attendee of this webinar session today, you actually get a discount on this too. So if you are interested in learning more, please let me know, and I can pass you on to one of our account managers to just have a little bit of a chat to learn more as well and tap into that discount. So to recap from today, it's all about arming your virtual digital team. So storytelling, tell your story, make a human connection. Photography, professional photographs are always going to be most popular, and do remember that because they are just such a high touch point across the board online. So definitely put photography to work it hard, add captions to all your photos, add keywords to all your photos, make sure they look beautiful and really are telling me more than just a visual. Strive for consistency across all of your platforms. So your photos should look quite consistent, as well as just your online branding. So I shouldn't come across your Instagram and it look completely different to what your Houzz profile or your website looks like. And engage in the community. Engage in discussions, editorial opportunities, and anywhere where people are actively reaching out to you as well. So we have a couple of resources on the screen here. They are some fantastic links, excuse me, to look through if you would like to see just smaller tutorials, shorter webinars, some FAQs and support links. Down the bottom, there's articles and tips. These are all actual editorial stories that dive into some specific tips just for our Houzz pros. And if you would like to attend another webinar or perhaps come along to an event in person with us, you can keep up to date with all of our events just directly on our events page, which is houzz.com.au/events. So thank you so much for joining, and I do hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks so much.